And hi, everybody. Welcome to Proline, direct from Las Vegas. I'm Dave Cokin, joined by Jim Feist. We will take a look at Week 11 of the college football campaign. We're getting into really big games now. Plus, Week 10 of the NFL first. Jim, if people want to subscribe to the channel, the price is right. It's absolutely free, and we have free bonus stuff as well.
Hey, we sure do, Dave. Go to ProlineTV.com, click on the subscribe button. You'll get notifications on new videos. Plus, you'll be sent a code to get 7 days of my service absolutely free. That's ProlineTV.com.
All right. Well, Eastern Michigan came through for me on Tuesday. They're down 21-0. It looks, boy, this isn't going well. And then they just took the game over and got the win. So I'm on a 16-7 run in college football right now. Very solid. Another big play going on Saturday. It's my exclusive personal service release, available for $99 only at 855-472-2577. I'm also on a real nice NBA run. It's actually 6-2. And if you want to win, well, that's what I'm supposed to be doing for you. That's supposed to be my specialty. So get on board. 855-472-2577. Again, $99 for that exclusive high roller play this weekend in college football. Jim, another really solid weekend for you. 20-7 in all sports. And NFL total of the year came through on Sunday. Titans and Chargers over. It went over twice, basically. So you only get paid once, but it went over twice.
Yeah, I got to do something about that.
It was a cinch. So a laugher all the way home, and well, I guess it's just time to keep it rolling.
I've got another high roller special going, Dave. My high roller releases are $500 a piece every day at JimFeist.com. That included the New York Giants, the Raiders and Broncos over on Sunday. Play these high rollers every day through Monday for just $99. Just call 866-546-9467. That's every sport. College hoops, NBA, NFL, college football, multiple plays throughout Monday. $99, 866-546-9467.
All right, so we started putting poll questions up on our social media. And
I love this question.
This was a good one. We don't actually come up with these questions ourselves. We let somebody on the staff do it, because they come up with better questions. And this was a good one. Will the Cleveland Browns run the table the wrong way and go 0-16? The last time this happened, 2008. Is it already 2008? It's already 8 years ago that happened with the Lions.
The Lions, they were pathetic.
I can't believe it's 8 years already. Man, it's starting to fly by. Anyway.
We've been doing this a long time, Dave.
Yes, we have some results on this question.
Yeah, we do. I think 58% of our audience said no, they do not believe the Browns will go winless this season. My analysis is, unfortunately, guys, you're wrong. They will not win a game. I'm going to tell you something. Okay, let's start being serious here. This is the organization that the owner got the advice from a homeless man on the street to draft Johnny Manziel, who happens to be the only quarterback that's won a game for them in a long time.
I didn't know Skip Bayless was a homeless man on the street.
Him too. Now, they also went out of their way to avoid Carson Wentz.
Oh.
This is a good organization. This place, then they go out and get RG3. How many stories can I tell you? And it's been about, 60 years since the last time they did it?
It never ends, by the way, because the Patriots basically wanted to get rid of a guy.
And they took him.
So the Browns took him.
Yeah, it's like
here's a third-round pick.
It's like the old commercial. Remember the old commercial with the kid with the food? Mikey likes it. Give it to the Browns. No, their team. They started out the season. I think they had 17 rookies on the squad. An expansion team would have had less rookies, more guys with experience. This is a pathetic team. Now, I will tell you this: they did try hard in many of their games, but they have played 6 starting quarterbacks in this season already. 6. They're 0-9. They're going 0-16. That's my vote.
And we want to thank everybody for participating in this week's poll question, and remind you that we'll have a new Proline poll question every Monday morning on our respective social media networks, and the results will be announced right here on the show.
And if you'd like to send us a suggestion for Proline poll questions, somehow that's tough to say. And any other questions you may have, just send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or YouTube, and I'll get right back to you.
All right, so let's talk some college football and 2 teams that do not have to worry about going winless, and that would be USC and Washington. And the Huskies have now moved in to the top 4 as far as the playoff rankings are concerned. A&M, we made this point last week that A&M, very good football team, but really shouldn't have been in there. And I guess, I don't know, maybe that put too much pressure on them.
They heard you.
Said that.
They heard you. They put the pressure on.
Yeah, they lost their quarterback for the year, too. That's a tough break for Kevin Sumlin's team. But Washington now has their rightful spot in the top 4. Now they've got to play well enough to preserve it. Well, this is the big challenge game so far for Washington. They got another one coming up. I mean, that Apple Cup game with Washington State is not going to be a cinch this year by any means. But first, the Huskies have to worry about USC. And since the Trojans made the quarterback change, they've been a much better football team, no question about it. So I give the coach credit for having the stones to make that change and probably save the season. This is tough because USC is a quality football team, and you don't like laying up a lot of points to a quality football team, but Seattle's going to be insane this weekend for this game. And Peterson, we know from his days in Boise, and now he's got the horses at Washington, he's really good when it counts.
I think they call Washington UW.
Yes.
Yes.
UW.
Do you know why?
Well, because it's a U and a W, and the W would be short for, or dub would be short for W, I assume.
Anyway, folks.
Is that right?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I thought maybe you knew.
I don't know. No.
Here's what
I've been there, but I never asked anybody.
I've been there many times.
Yes.
But, I spent a lot of time in Washington.
I love Bainbridge. Bainbridge
Oh
Island.
yeah, the little island. You take the
Beautiful.
little ship
Yes,
over, and
terrific.
It's a great little island.
Wonderful
It's a great spot up there. And Vancouver, Canada. It's a wonderful spot. The Washington, not Washington State.
No.
They have a lot of pressure on them. They just made it into the dance. They have their own Final Four dance now, so they're there if they can hold on. Like you said, Texas A&M fell out, and I think they should have fallen out. Losing the quarterback was a loss. Of course, that was terrible. But USC, as they changed the quarterback, they've changed the momentum. I can't believe the line on this game. This is too many points for a team with the quality of USC. Yeah, Washington's the better team right now, or they have been for the whole season. But at this point in time, you don't take a 7-point game. It's already driven up to 9. Where's it going? Is it going to 10? If this thing stays at these numbers, I'm going to be looking for the dog. I think there's too much quality. And the pressure, I know USC wants to go to a bowl game, all that, but that's different kind of pressure than playing for the championship. Washington has the pressure. They're the last one in at this moment to go there. This is a lot of pressure for a team like this. You're talking about kids and laying 2 scores to USC. That's too much. I'm on the dog.
Now, if you want to ask us any Las Vegas-type sports wagering question, go to ProlineTV.com, ask the question, whatever you want. It doesn't cost anything. And speaking of not costing anything, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Do it right now to get 7 days of action free.
Plus, go to JimFeist.com for free stats, articles, videos, my free fast facts, and plays from the nation's top handicappers.
All right, when we come back, we're going to look at the NFL Week 10, including the smoking hot Dallas Cowboys. They will go against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that might be a little angry and might be a little red in the face. All right, there's some good games in the NFL this weekend. You get some marquee matchups, and here's one of them. Dallas at Pittsburgh. The Cowboys just continue to play good football. I go in and just waxed Cleveland last week. That was a very easy win for them. It was basically like a bye week where they get credit for a win. The Steelers, they didn't have it so easy. They had to play New England and,
Baltimore.
Baltimore, excuse me. And they just got wiped out early. Final score was respectable. If you look at it, if you didn't see the game, it's like, well, just lost by a touchdown, but they got outplayed badly in that game. But it was Big Ben's first game back off the injury, and he wasn't sharp. This is a really big game for these two teams. The Cowboys want to keep the momentum going, obviously, and the Steelers need the game.
Well, they both need the game, but I'd like to say something about the Big Ben thing. The history says that when Big Ben is hurt and he comes back, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but it's like 0-8 or 1-8 in the next game as far as winning and covering, at least winning. He's not right. But he forces. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, he sure is.
He's a tough guy. But he comes back too soon, and the coaches let him come back too soon, and he was not ready. He was horrible in that game. That's not Big Ben. Big Ben's one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in a long, long time. He'll be sharper today. The problem is you're playing against, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the subjects a little bit later. Dallas runs the ball really well. They have a great offensive line. They protect Dak Prescott, and he's keeping Romo on the sidelines unless Jerry Jones starts to interfere. But be that as it may, Dallas is a very solid football team. Pittsburgh has enormous offensive talent, And if Big Ben is sharp, this could be a hell of a game. But who the hell made, I guess I can say hell.
Hell yes, I believe that's that.
Yeah, it's all right.
You can say worse than that if you want.
I don't really want to.
Okay.
We'll just stick with hell. Pittsburgh opens a 3-point favorite over this team? Are you crazy? You got to be nuts. Well, of course, that number sitting out there, anybody with their right mind is going to grab it because you know it's going to go down, and it has gone down, and it will continue to go down. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't end up pick 'em because we really don't know at what point Big Ben will become Big Ben again. We know what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. They had like Dave said, they had a bye week last week against the Cleveland Browns, who looks like they're kind of throwing it in the towel now. So this is a great spot for Dallas if you got the +3. When it gets to pick 'em or -1 either side, I don't know. It's going to be tough to call. I'm not going to call this game either way, but if you grab the 3 early, there was some value there.
My first impulse when I looked at this game is, Roethlisberger is going to be better than he was last week.
Has to be.
And the Pittsburgh defense just isn't that good. I mean,
no.
you look at the stats here.
No, they're not.
Now, I got these stats right in front of me here. Number 24 in yards. Points, not too bad. Slight upper half of the league at number 13. 13 versus run. 24 versus the pass. They're giving up a ton of yards through the air. It's almost 300 yards a game. It's like 275 yards a game. I think you're going to get points in this game. I mean, it's not Dallas's. I think Dallas's offense is better than Dallas's defense. I know Pittsburgh's offense is better than Pittsburgh's defense. I know that's kind of that's not an outside-the-box analysis, which sometimes you need in the NFL if you want to succeed. But sometimes, keep it simple isn't the worst idea in the world. I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game.
Well, as far as it really comes down to Big Ben. If he plays,
he had rust.
If he's really Big Ben, I agree with your analysis. But when you look at the way he played, if he's halfway between last week and what he could be, then I don't know that they can score enough points, and that's a problem. And Tomlin is, he's an okay coach. I don't think he's a great coach. They've had too many times over the history where they'll come up big in a big game like this, and then fall off against somebody that's not so good. They kind of play the level of competition. This is a big game. It really comes down to Big Ben. The offensive line has to protect them as well because he's not as mobile.
Speaking of offensive lines,
yes,
this is comical with Minnesota. I mean, this team's got a great defense, and we saw the first indication that the defense might be wearing down this past week against the Lions. End of the game, all of a sudden the Vikings can't stop the Lions. Then they let them roll down the field in overtime and lose the game. So you look at it and say, well, what happened to the Vikings defense? But it was the offensive line and their inability to create holes to run through and to protect the quarterback. And you've seen this terrific defensive unit that's going down the drain because the offense is that bad. I mean, the Vikings are completely in the wrong direction now.
32nd in yards, 31st in rushing, top 2 running backs.
That's the worst line in the league, isn't it?
I
know Seattle's is not good.
You could look at Seattle. You could look at Seattle and say that's a pretty bad offensive line as well, and because they got Wilson hurt. He's got 2 injuries that he's nursing. They don't run the ball. Right, so they can't run the ball.
Let me give you 3 teams. All right, let's take 3 teams here that have, I was going to use another word, crappy offensive line. Okay? Minnesota, Seattle, and because he keeps getting sacked, and it's not like he's immobile, I'm going to put Indianapolis in that group. I mean, Leck's been sacked 33 times. That's ridiculous. Protect the guy. Which one's the worst? I'm going to go with the Vikings at this point.
Well, okay.
And we're only talking about decent teams here. If it's the Browns, who cares about the Browns? They don't even enter the discussion. We're talking about teams
top teams. Yeah. I think it's pretty equal, actually. I think they're all really bad. But I've seen a few moments with Andrew Luck and the offensive line for Indianapolis that gives them hope, because what I'm seeing now, 5-0 team, now 5-3, lost 3 straight games. Minnesota right now looks to be the worst team.
Does the kicker?
I don't know that this team wins another game.
If the Vikings, if you count the kicker as part of the offensive line, then the Vikings are a runaway for being the worst.
Absolutely.
By the way, it looks like Blair Walsh is still going to be the kicker this weekend. I don't get that
Wait a
at
minute.
all.
Did you notice that the one onside kick thing by Pittsburgh?
Oh,
that was
hilarious.
That was comical.
That's the funniest thing I've seen in the NFL
that
since
was
butt fumble. It really was.
We have to go out on the field and try it.
I would hurt myself if I tried that. Viewers can get free plays from us right to their cell phone. Jim, it's easy.
That's right. Just text GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827. You'll get a free play right now to your cell phone. Text GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827.
All right, we're going to come back. We'll take a look at some NFL wagering notes. Excuse me. And a Super Bowl rematch from 2 years ago. The Seahawks and Patriots are going to battle it out, so stay tuned. Okay, before we talk about this game between Seattle and New England, let's talk about one game from last weekend where we did see, I think we saw, at least for this year, I think we saw a changing of the guard in the AFC West. The Raiders were absolutely the better team in the field against the Broncos, and I think the Broncos might want to look at this and say, Trevor Siemian's done a nice job for us, but he's got a low ceiling. We got to get Paxton Lynch out there, and let's see what happens. That would be the way I looked at it.
I don't think they'll do that.
I don't either.
I thought in the offseason that John Elway made a terrible mistake in not getting – this is a Super Bowl champion, and they had a chance to come back and do it again. Now, they started the season off okay. Siemian did all right. But an experienced guy – I mean, the only experience he had before this year was a kneel down, for God's sake, okay? Yeah. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have a future. What I'm saying is he's not ready for prime time. And that's what I see. I thought that the Elway got a little bit too cocky coming into the season with Mark Sanchez, Siemian, and Paxton Lynch. There's nobody there that I would consider even a medium quarterback from what we've seen going into the year.
What about the Raiders?
Oh,
how legit is this?
First of all,
legit.
I love Derek Carr. I mean, this kid can throw the ball. He's smart. He makes good decisions. Very accurate. Their offense is prolific. The defense ranks near the bottom of the league. That bothers. You don't usually win Super Bowls or playoffs with a bad defense.
I think it's starting to get a little bit better.
I don't know, because we're talking about them going up against Siemian.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to look at what they played.
I thought they played with a lot of confidence last week, and on both sides of the ball.
They played against Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. They're going to overtime against two
but,
quarterbacks.
I'm not making excuses for them, but that was their 5th East Coast road trip.
They
in 8
love
weeks.
the East Coast.
Well, it's still, at some point, it's got to start to sap the energy a little bit.
You would think.
Don't
But
you
now
think
they go
so?
to Mexico City.
Yeah.
A home game in
Yes,
Mexico. I don't know the schedule.
Well, their home games in a few years will be right here in Las Vegas. We won't have to worry about that. All right, so New England is at home to Seattle this weekend. And I talked to a few of the guys that we have on the radio show, the Las Vegas Sports Line. It's a daily show. Here's on ESPN Radio here in Las Vegas that I host with Matt Humans from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And Jim's with us on Thursdays. Right now, the number is already approaching a touchdown.
It's over a touchdown.
It is. Well, yeah, I think
it's
there's
7.5. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, there is some 7, right?
No 7.
So it's gone to 7.5 now. All right. I think it was 7 earlier in the week. And that's the AFC number to win the Super Bowl against the NFC. Now, that's a really high number for this time of the year.
And this might be the matchup.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Well, the point is that normally at this time of year, because, you're talking about any team from one conference as opposed to any team from the other conference, you're normally looking at 3s or in that range.
Exactly.
This is a full touchdown plus now with the AFC favored over the NFC, and that's clearly because of the Patriots. And actually, the Cowboys would probably be the second choice right now. I think they're the favorite out of the NFC. That tells you how dominant this New England team is right now. They're that much better than everybody else, and I think it's totally legitimate.
2 reasons for that. New England is very, very good, but the rest of the league is down a lot.
A lot of parity.
The best, other than New England, the best team in the NFL is 3 to 6 points worse than
I think it's
than they normally would be.
Oh, okay.
The best.
Well, you might be right because Dallas is now. I think Dallas is. Are they now the second highest power rated team?
I think so.
And they are a full touchdown less than the Patriots.
Right.
Which is.
The Patriots are that just. The
yeah.
Patriots are great, and they would be great in any era.
And I love it that they got the loss. I mean, I know.
Oh,
I'm
the
sure,
16
I'm sure the
Buffalo.
players would have liked to have been unbeaten, but get that garbage out of there. You don't have to worry about that down the stretch. We saw what's happened in the past. It happened in New England. They lost the Super Bowl that year. Happened to the Warriors in the NBA last year. They already lost that game to Buffalo, so there'll be no. Well, should they keep the regulars on the field? I don't think they'll lose it again.
This offense, the two tight end offense with Bennett and Gronkowski. Brady is an amazing quarterback. He's not mobile, but he's accurate and he knows what he's doing out there. He's a smart guy.
I think he's at the point where he's the best I've ever seen. I mean, I think Montana may be still the best clutch quarterback.
Those two guys come up to the top for me.
Those are the
one
two.
or the other. But Seattle, Russell Wilson. Nobody really talks about Russell Wilson as being a great quarterback. They think, oh, this team won, and what they did is they had the great defense and the great running game, and there was Russell Wilson out there. This guy's a great quarterback. He's a great passer. He's very accurate. He can throw a deep ball. The problem is right now, he's not mobile. He's got 2 leg injuries. He just can't move. He used to get like 700-800 yards a year. I think he's like 50 yards for the whole year. He just isn't mobile. Now that puts a lot of pressure on your offensive line. We're speaking about offensive lines. Seattle has one of the worst. But they are Seattle, and they do know how to win. And, they went down to Arizona a couple weeks ago, and they got into a 6-6 tie against a pretty darn good Arizona team, or at least we thought they were. And then, of course, they went up to New England, to Carolina, got flubbed. But this is going to be a heck of a game.
All right. If you want to get free plays every day on a recorded message from our Vegas experts, there's a toll-free number to call, 888-478-9222.
And follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Jim Feist Sports. And feel free to send me a direct message with any question about the Las Vegas wagering scene.
And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week with another edition of Proline.